This is Tony Gachoka, and I'm happy today to talk to my fellow Kenyans on the day that William Ruto has been forced to withdraw the Adani deals from Kenya. Let me be very clear that the president's statement in parliament today was inaccurate and dishonest. President William Ruto did not remove the Adani cases from Kenya because of new information he has received from friends abroad. The reason the cases were withdrawn is because we had formed a formidable court action against him on the basis that the Private Partnership Act is unconstitutional, the fact that he had entered into the Adani deals without public participation and without the approval of Parliament. Further to that, he had breached procurement procedure in this country, and the Adani deal was brought in through the back door in order to achieve what it had achieved in India. In India, Adani has been indicted for having paid $265 million, the equivalent of 34 billion shillings, to Indian politicians to enable a deal of $2 billion. That amounts to about 10%. With the amount that had been calculated for Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, that would have amounted to 260 billion worth of a deal, and a 10% payment mimicking that of India would have made a political payoff of 2.6 billion Kenya shillings. And that is the amount of money that the Adani group must have offered to Kenyan politicians. I want to be very clear that another thing that turned the Adani matter into a problem in the US was deception and misinformation. They misrepresented how they got their deals to lenders and investors, and therefore the money they obtained from innocent people was by deception and by fraud, what lawyers will call criminal fraud. In this instance, had Kenya signed the Adani deal for Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, and 5 years into the deal, this indictment by the East Side Court of New York would have been entered, what would have happened to Kenya? William Ruto was prepared to sign the airport for 30 years. What would have happened in 5 years' time if Adani had been indicted and found guilty of criminal conduct? I want to tell this country that President Ruto has proved he's a man poor of judgment and prepared to put the public good in risk. And as Tony Gachoka, I want to say we must all make sure this is a one-term president. We must stop him, and we must never allow William Ruto to be re-elected in Kenya again. This is a call that I am making to every Kenyan. William Ruto must go because Adani is his creation. He cannot now celebrate that Adani has gone. How can Adani have come and then Ruto has been the one to celebrate him? Ruto today should be shedding tears the way the churches and the bishops have castigated his poor judgment. We as Kenyans add our voice to the churches to say that this country is being led in the wrong direction, and we condemn in the strongest terms possible the Adani deal to take over the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. My name is Tony Gachoka, and this is Point Blank.